Here's a video on my flower compost I made for my mom's flower bed, which this was actually a old burn pit for her trash that she burnt. She would burn some different stuff like plastic, paper, and wood and stuff in here, but she decided to turn it into a flower bed, and when she planted it in there, the plants, the problem was the soil is real alkaline, and it's going to be high in potassium, which some of the plants weren't looking so good at first, but so I made her up some flower compost and that I had, and I used 3 different ingredients, but I'll get to that in a couple minutes. But wood stove ash and potash, like from a wood stove or a burn pit, is going to be high in potassium. It's good, but it's real alkaline, so I had to take make some compost up to hopefully, balance it out where the flowers would go really good. And as you can tell, some of them, or almost all of them, are doing really good. Like right here, there's some marigolds right there growing, and I will be posting another video of pictures of their progress from before, but they're going to be out of order. But I've been meaning to do a video on this for a long time, and I think there's a marigold down there. And you're wondering, what did I use in my compost? Well, I actually used 3 things that a lot of people are going to be grossed out by, but it worked on flower compost, and I believe this is a safe. They are good to use in your flower beds, which is pet waste is 2 of the things. That means cat and dog, and human manure, because I used a compost toilet I made myself, and I would mix it all up with some other stuff, and also, yes, human urine. But I would mix it together first with of course, a brown material, and I would blend it out. Blend it and mix it together, and sat there, kept stirring it, and waited and let it blend out. After let all the stuff get together and break down, and mix together and get all the nutrients in it together. And then when I thought it was ready to be harvested and used, I would dig up a bag and bag it up and take it up here and dump it and spread it. And at first the flowers weren't doing so good because of all that biochar and ash and stuff was probably too alkaline. So I figured, well, the compost should balance it out a little bit better, and as you can tell from here, they're doing excellent. But sorry about the lighting, but I will be posting another video, a slideshow of pictures that are out of order but show the progress of them before. And I did spread it in another area, and I will be showing that to you here in just 1 minute. Okay, we're back. Here's where I used it at also, in here, and this it still needs a lot more added to it, but this is a lot of clay soil, and I still don't know what some of these flowers are, but look at the results. I don't think I have any pictures of this yet, but there's some new blooms coming off on this, and here, and there's a marigold. But this was all clay soil, so I added the compost to it. I just poured it on top. I didn't till it in. I didn't mix it or not. I just put it on top after the plants were already planted. And let's go back over here, and I have a camera assistant who happens to be a duck. But I'm going back over here to this and try to get a better angle of these flowers. But see, and some people don't like using human manure or dog or cat poo in their flower beds. Well, there's different ways of composting it into your flower beds. Like, you can use sawdust, and it also depends on your cat litter. But you can use composting worms to compost all that, but I would be real careful about doing it that way. There's videos on YouTube about that. And also, the cat litter I use, I don't use clay. I use something that's made from corn silks or corn husks. I get it at Walmart. And that's and as for the dog, I just pick it up and mix it in with the cat poo, and also mix in the stuff from my compost toilet, which I use wood chips in there, and I mix all that in there, and You can probably see the wood chips still, which is going to create some good fungal dominance here, hopefully, which is very important for the soil. Having fungi in your soil, it's very important because it does help your soil in so many ways. It's good to have some fungi in your soil, and fungi, if you see mushrooms, like for example growing on logs and stuff, that's actually help breaking it down. The mushrooms, they're actually going to feed on that. That's their food source. They don't get photosynthesis like other plants do. They feed on that, and that's how mushrooms survive. And also I figured this would be a good compost to use for flowers to grow that will attract bees, which we've got one flying over there on that white clover. But yeah, this is my flower compost. I make it from 3 ingredients, well actually 4, including the human urine that people might be grossed out by. But I just try to balance it out with a nice brown material, and as you can tell, the results are amazing. And I will put up another video, a slideshow of these pictures that were of this particular flower bed. And I am recommending my mom, this is her flower bed, is when they all die off in the wintertime, I told her she should really add something to just fill this thing up, make this a raised garden bed, let me pour some more flower compost in here, and then this plant, once it's filled up to the top, plant the flowers into that. So that would encourage healthier root growth and stuff. And I might also suggest to have like something like paper or something in there to help, because you know the fungi will feed off that newspaper and stuff, or cardboard. They feed off of that as well, and that will also help out the soil food web here. But if you're going to compost pet waste and stuff, be very, very careful. Make sure if you're doing it, make sure it's only used in your flower beds. 100% it must be used in your flower beds. I mean, there's a company that does use dog poo in their potting soil, but that's because, for all gardens, but that's because they have their compost piles actually heat up. They get a temperature so great enough to kills all the deadly pathogens and bacteria and stuff in the pet waste. But they also did write a book called the Pet Poo Pocket Guide to Composting or something like that. But yeah, like I said, this is my flower compost. I guess you could call it some really good flower compost. I don't have a name for it yet, but I do make it. And just like I make and sell worm castings, but I make that out of a special compost that's for vegetables and stuff. I don't use dog or cat poo in my worm bin. I don't make worm castings from that at all. But another way you can compost it is using house flies or actual black soldier fly larvae. Which I was watching a video one time about how there was a farmer who raised pigs. He actually had to use fly larvae to compost his pig waste. But black soldier fly larvae only produce insect frass, not castings. And there's that bee again. He's flying around. I think he was pollinating one of the flowers. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will upload that slideshow of the pictures of this when I get a chance.